Hello to everybody who's starting business after business after business. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. I know everybody doesn't love an intro. This one's very long. I talk about a few things, including a long rant on the Diddy trial. But I also, very importantly, talk about how we're trying to migrate all of our followers off of Twitter. I just don't want to use Twitter to harvest the phone calls anymore. It's really daunting because it's tons of people who follow me for that. So it's nerve-wracking, but follow me at chrisgethard.bsky.social, or you can follow the show at beautifulanonymous.bsky.social. If you want to keep updated on the show, we're going to try to wean off of Twitter and then eventually walk away from it. Outside of that, go ahead and skip. It's a long one. You're going to want to skip about, honestly, like 18 minutes, 19 minutes, and then you'll be right towards the beginning of the phone call. Enjoy it. Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. Welcome to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous, the show where we examine the human condition, one anonymous phone call at a time. I'm so happy to be talking to you. Quick plug. I've got a show at White Eagle Hall in Jersey City. If you are in the New York City area, if you're in the tri-state area, I need everybody to come out August 7th. It's going to be a huge celebration. Comedy, multiple bands. I'm currently embroiled in email exchanges with people about needing to get extra insurance because of some of the crazy physical bits that are happening at this show. It's going to be so wild. Come on out. White Eagle Hall is one of the best venues. August 7th, punchup.live/Chris Gethard for tickets. And of course, don't forget about beautifulanonymous.com. You get more time with each caller. You get ad-free episodes. Some of you get secret phone number once a month. You get a follow-up call with a past caller once a month. It's really good. And this week's episode, one of the most endearing conversations in the history of this show happens in the paywall stuff. So it's a good week to sign up if you haven't yet. Other business. Few things is we often record, like we're recording this on a Thursday and we release it on a Tuesday, and I often feel like there's things that drive me insane on any given week, and I'm sure you're all in the same place. And I often sometimes go, I wish I had talked about this in the intro of Beautiful Anonymous. Like, that is the place where I get to kind of rant and connect with the community, and sometimes it feels just the production cycle, blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying. Point being, one thing that we have to make on a move with this show, we've got to get off Twitter. It's obvious. I was saying to Andrea before we recorded this, like it's not even past the first tipping point. There's been like 7 tipping points with Twitter. So we're going to try Blue Sky. I just signed up for it. I have almost no followers. I assume everyone who's going to follow me is a Beautiful Anonymous fan. It's chrisgethard.bsky.social. Chris Gethard, as many of you know, .bsky.social. I think everybody knows how to find Blue Sky. If you want to call the show, get on there. It seems to be the best kind of alternative. And why have we been on Twitter so long? When the person who now owns Twitter has personally done things to destabilize the entire American government and therefore world economy, when it's oftentimes an addictive cesspool of lowest common denominator content, when it's got an AI built into it now, and it seems to be more and more focused on AI, but its AI is also saying all sorts of weird, inappropriate shit. There's so many reasons. Let's face facts. I've got 83,000 followers And that's like after it was up towards 100,000 after they purged all the bots a couple years ago. I got 83,000 people following it. On a selfish level, that's hard to walk away from, but we got to walk away. At some point, you got to have ethics and walk away. So if you are somebody who likes to call, try to get on the show, we would still love to have you. Obviously, I'm just going to recommend get over there to chrisgethard.bsky.social. Follow me on Blue Sky. For the next month or so, I'll probably cross-post on both Twitter and Blue Sky. And once we see that there's some movement and people are coming over, we'll then transition off of using Twitter for Beautiful Anonymous. But yeah, we all know. There's not much. It's just, right, we're in a world right now where it feels like me as an individual, what can I really do to stop the tide of so much scary shit? And I need to be clear. There's still Russian invaders in Ukraine. There's genocide happening in Palestine. There's still hostages being held from October 7th. There's masked weirdos grabbing random people and putting them in something called alligator Alcatraz? Like, what is happening? There's U.S. military on the streets of Los Angeles. What are we doing? Like what is happening? We scoffed at the idea that that weather is getting more unpredictable and more out of control, and now hundreds of kids die in summer camps that get flooded in Texas. Like, what are we doing? There's so many things. And it makes it so easy to just throw your hands up and go, I can't do anything. But, while there is objective truth to the idea that I personally can't do anything, who am I if I don't try to do something? And if sacrificing 83,000 followers on Twitter is a thing I can do, at least I'm trying, right? I have to say, one of the guiding principles in my life, I think I was 15 when I bought the Minor Threat discography. If you don't know Minor Threat, they're a hardcore band from Washington, D.C. in the early 80s. They wrote a song called Straight Edge, which kind of created the straight edge movement, which a lot of people have probably heard of, at the very least, the concept of straight edge. But man, Ian MacKaye, who was the front person of that band, and then the front person of Fugazi, a lot of other stuff, Discord Records, really a hero of mine, somebody who I often think about when I don't know what to do, has a song, and in one of those Minor Threat songs, he says the simple words, "You tell me that I make no difference. At least I'm fucking trying. What the fuck have you done?" And that's a little blunt. We don't usually curse in the intro, but there's so much truth to it. So, if, it's really daunting and scary to say, well, the whole show functions on the ideas that people try to call us. How do we connect with those people? For 9 years, it's been largely through Twitter. And I have 83,000 followers on there, many of whom are not going to migrate over, which could, let's be clear, severely and negatively impact the future of this show, which, let's be clear, is what keeps a roof over my child's head. Like, it's scary. But I can't. I can no longer look at what goes on with Twitter and in any way feel good about utilizing it for money, for financial gain. And I got to think about Ian MacKaye. What the fuck have you done? If my answer is not much, that's not a good answer. So we're switching to Blue Sky. So again, chrisgethard.bsky.com. Now, bsky.social. I don't even know how this works. chrisgethard.bsky.social. If you want to call the show, follow me there. I hope some people migrate over. If they don't, I'm going to have to figure out how the show will survive, but I can't with the Twitter thing anymore. Also have to address this because, again, in the rhythm of the show, it's never, the news has never come out. I have been posting in ways that some beautiful anonymous fans have been going like, wait, what? Explain this. Like on my Instagram, the USA Today put out an article listing all the celebrities who were brought up at the Diddy trial. And I want to say, the Diddy trial it's really wild. It was wild to watch, read about, listen to podcasts breaking down everything that's going on. It was, whoa, this is really, really crazy. We all know this. On the list of celebrities, USA Today, my name was brought up. And let's be very clear. My name was brought up directly between the names Mariah Carey and Jay-Z, and then above people like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, like real household worldwide names. Mariah Carey, Jay-Z, and then right in between Chris Gethard. And there were some beautiful anonymous fans who have not followed my comedy career who were rightfully going like, what the fuck? Like, and I've never taken the time to explain it on the show, so I know I should not be laughing at any that trial. Serious. It's a serious thing. I'm not trying to laugh at the trial, but just to explain this aspect of it. If you don't know, a lot of me coming into the public eye as a comedian was because many, many years ago when Twitter first started, and it was a great connector of people, I realized that some of these celebrities were actually out there doing their own tweets. This was before publicists were really monitoring it. And I asked Diddy to come do a show with me at the UCB Theater in New York, which is the small theater I came up at. He inexplicably said he would do it. It led to a year-long saga that people sort of got obsessed with. And it took him 13 months to actually show up and do the show. But every show I did in those 13 months sold out because nobody wanted to miss the show that Diddy did. And you can imagine that as a comedian who was getting good, but trying to find a way to stand out, 13 months of sold out shows was massive. And this was the Chris Gethard show. We had started doing the Chris Gethard show at UCB. So all of a sudden you could not get a ticket to this thing called the Chris Gethard show. And that word started to spread in New York. This thing, the Gethard show, you can't get in. It sells out in like 10 minutes. Every time they put up tickets, it sells out 5-10 minutes. And so much of that was because of my association with Sean Diddy Combs, because I asked him on Twitter to do this thing. When we had the TV show, we were told by one of his assistants that he would come back on the show someday, but that we needed, I'll air out a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. We were basically told his ego is such that you really need to bend over backwards and make him feel like it's worth coming by. So we had a thing on our show. If you go and watch our cable era, there is a Diddy door where we often make it's listed. There's a door on our set and above it, it says Diddy. And we often announced, you know, anytime you want to show up, Diddy, you have your own door. No one else is allowed to enter through that door. And then eventually he did. So there's nothing funny about the Diddy trial, except perhaps for beautiful anonymous fans that the name Chris Gethard was listed between Mariah Carey and Jay-Z. But I want it to be full disclosure because I know there's some people I've seen you reacting to my social media where I'll post pictures of some of these articles that list my name. And some people are going like, what the heck's going on? That's what's going on. Was before any of this came out, and I obviously had no inside. I was never at any white parties. I did not know about the existence of freak-offs that I think does not even need to be said there's not a world in which I was invited to the freak off. Okay. But man, it's been a strange few months. One of my cousins reached out to me and was like, your mom is sending around emails with a link to this article with your name in it. And I called her up. I'm like, hey, Ma, I don't know if you just need to send that to everybody. This is not like the same as when my HBO special came out and you were proud of me. And she's like, I just think it's so funny. I'm like, it is, but also like, it is, but it's not. You can't be sending this to my cousin Paige. If you're sending it to my cousin Paige, I know you've sent this to like 50 people. And you don't need to be doing that. So anyway, these things obviously tie together because when Twitter was this democratizing connector of people, I connected with Diddy. And it led to him being on my show. And his appearance on my show was brought up as a part of the timeline of a lot of stuff that happened, apparently. And I will tell you, a text thread with some of the producers of my show, one of them was like, hey, guys, I'm looking at the dates. I think he was on our show in the middle of a lot of this stuff people are bringing up. Like we were in there. And I haven't spoken much publicly on it, but I have been left to wonder if him coming on our cable show and being this like very, very nice, magical guy making an effort to have group hugs, connect people. I go, ooh, were we inadvertently used as some sort of damage control to show off this side of this personality of him being positive all the time when it was in the middle of some dark negativity? That's horrible to think about. It's really, really sad and awful. And the accounts of what people went through, the verdict is what it is. But if you listen to what people dealt with, it sounds really dark. But if you've been wondering why my name came up in the Diddy trial, it's because of that. And I have led a very strange life. I think about this a lot. There's things people don't know. Like, here's a nugget I'll just drop and see if you guys want to follow up. Do you know that I was once the defendant in a Supreme Court case? And that the Supreme Court case led to Donald Trump being briefly removed from Twitter? Bet you didn't know that one. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. This intro's getting very long, but I think there's been a lot in it that is interesting. Again, chrisgethard.bsky.social. Andrea also, as we were recording this intro, heads up move, created beautifulanonymous.bsky.social. So follow both of those. Beautiful Anonymous if you exclusively want Beautiful Anonymous related stuff. chrisgethard.bsky.social if you want Beautiful Anonymous stuff and updates on other stuff I'm doing. And we'll try to post to both accounts, I guess. And we'll cross post to Twitter for a while as we remind you to move on. But yeah, we got to move on. Have to. Okay, this week's episode, it's great. You're going to love it. I love it. Every time it happens lately, I've been pointing it out, but have we noticed that young callers throw fastballs right in the strike zone the past year or two? Used to be very consistent that I would see if a teenager called or a college student called, you would see feedback from people going, it was very basic. Oftentimes it's people, I don't like how often they say the word like, or the pauses in their sentence, or the tone. You'd see this generational difference. Now we all need to see young callers are calling up and telling us how they feel. And they're coming across as well thought out, intelligent badasses. And so many of them jump out to me. And some commonalities that I'm starting to notice with some of our younger callers is they want to work hard. They want to see pathways, to figure out who they are and to get there. They're raising red flags on stuff and they're not being histrionic and performative about it. They are defying a lot of the expectations and a lot of the stereotypes we have about young people. that they're performative and histrionic and that they go to social media to score points and they're not looking for real change. No, I think they're actually pretty sick of that stuff and they desperately want real change. Our caller today, 19 years old, few different angles that we go down, but mostly, honestly, we just talk. A lot of it's about starting businesses. A lot of it's about being where he's at. It's like to get out of a relationship, your first real relationship. Brings back a flood of memories. I'll stop talking. I've talked for so long, but man, I loved this call. Really, really loved it. And I think you will too.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Chris. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm at my internship right now, so I had to take a break. Talk to you.
Oh, nice. Well, I don't want to get you in trouble at your internship.
Oh, that's okay. My manager, I was talking to Andrea on the phone. My manager was like, "Oh, go ahead. You take your time." So
that's nice.
That's where we're at. I had actually I was on a New Year's special in 2024. I think at that point I was just graduated high school and I had a business.
This is coming back to me. Yeah. How's it going?
A little bit. Good. I started another one. So that's something that's been keeping me busy.
So you're out here, you're young and just starting businesses left and right. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I guess that was my whole goal growing up. Have something of my own, and I kind of just try to put it into play as much as possible.
What kind of businesses we out here starting?
It's weird because I just got done with my freshman year of college, and so trying to juggle school and that and life and emotions is all crazy and weird.
Okay. So wait, you have your own businesses and you're also interning?
Yes. So, I guess I could say it. I have I had a car detailing business, which I still kind of have, but it's kind of on the back burner. And then when I was in my freshman year, I started a chocolate business, and so I kind of do that on the side in a way.
I love that.
Yeah, it keeps me busy, but it teaches me a lot about life and juggling a bunch of stuff.
So you have both those things going. You're also working for somebody else. Is this internship paid or unpaid?
It is paid. So it's for a phone carrier. I guess I won't say which one, but it's hourly and it's commission based. So I guess kind of still goes along with entrepreneurship and sales in a way. And so I kind of have to really work and make my commission or else I'm not making any money.
Now, there's a lot of people your age who are like, this hustle culture stuff has gone too far. We need to kill the hustle culture. This idea that you just work. Sounds to me like you're in your early 20s now, I would imagine, based on what you've laid out.
I'm 19, so I'm not 20 yet.
You're not even 20. So you're 19, mm-hmm. And it sounds to me like you're like, no, hustle culture is everything. Hustle.
It definitely is, I guess. But I think with social media and everything, because obviously I basically grew up with social media right by my side. And with kind of how I guess social media is portrayed now, like success is portrayed in social media, I feel like it's too much. Because I feel like you have 14, 15-year-olds trying to do drop shipping and get a Lamborghini in 3 years. And I feel like that's not very practical most of the time.
Yeah, that's not real. That's not
So that's
reality
like,
for the large majority of people that put their time into it.
right. And I mean, I'm sure because you obviously have so much going on with. I know you did your shows and now podcasts and all this stuff. So it's like it's not just that simple. And I feel like, I mean, even me now, I'm like, okay, well, am I doing good enough because I don't have a Lamborghini? And but you see on social media, they're rentals or it's just parents' money supporting them, but it's tricky navigating all that.
You even start to see people getting exposed of some of these people with these pictures of the Lamborghinis, and you realize, oh, they were like at an outdoor car show and they're just taking a picture next to a Lamborghini. Like some of this is actual snake oil. It's fake. It's presentation. It's damaging people who start to set that as their priority.
Yeah, for sure. And that affects, I mean, like I said, like people's, I mean, mental health, like a lot. 'Cause it's always I feel like that's why anxiety is so much more prominent now. It's just like am I doing good enough? Because I see all these people doing this and that. And then, I mean, even me, I'm still like, okay, well, shoot, what am I doing? Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be going to school? Am I supposed to be, working so hard? Or should I just go online, do drop shipping, and sleep all day?
If you had to guess, and I know you're not like out here conducting surveys, if you had to guess, people in your age group who you encounter, how many of them do you think are dealing with mental health struggles? Whether that's anxiety, depression, ADHD. If you had to guess what percentage of people around your age are dealing with stuff like this, what would you guess that percentage is?
I would say it has to be at least like 80, 85 maybe. I feel like it's so common, and it's kind of hard to not have that, I feel like. At least for my age and seeing my friends and people in my school and me. Like, I mean, I got diagnosed with anxiety probably about almost a year ago. And I took SSRIs I took it for like a month, and I was like, this isn't, it doesn't make me feel like myself. But some people feel like it helps. But like I said, yeah, so probably 80, 85 for sure.
85. I hope everybody's listening. Hope everybody out here is listening, and I hope that anybody who is older who says that mental health, people talk about it too much, and they go, no, you're hearing from a young person who says, when I look around at people I know, people I went to school with, people in my friend groups, 85% of them seem fucked up on some level. Sorry to boil it down to such frank language, but just when it comes to mental health, 85% of my peers are dealing with something. That's shocking and not surprising, and also something we need to fix pronto.
I mean, I totally agree. I think, now granted, I feel like, some of that is definitely, I don't want to say fake. I definitely don't want to say fake, but I think just the way society is set up in some aspects, I think there are, a percentage of that 85% that could be solved fairly simply, like, getting more sunlight, or, I mean, I'm no scientist, but
exercising
more sunlight, being more social,
getting outside. Exactly.
Right.
But that's I don't think there's anything dismissive or anything that points towards you being, saying that it's fake. I actually think it's a very astute observation of some of this is, you're falling into a really dark place. Like, it might be as simple as like, stop being so addicted to Reddit and go outside for a few hours a day. It might be as simple as like, hey, if all your interactions are happening via texting, maybe you prioritize that once a day you actually get on the phone so that you're hearing the inflection of someone else's voice. You're hearing the back and forth. You're hearing the emotion. I don't think that that's dismissive. I think that's the reality of where we're at. And I think it's actually a very astute observation that some of these problems are self-created, and we're creating habits and addictions amongst all of us right now that we all know in our gut are deeply unhealthy. And for you to look around and go, I get the sense 85% of my peers are suffering from this stuff, but it could be as easy as going outside more, exercising a couple times a week, interacting with other people in a more meaningful way, even once in a while. You go, we have a chance to not let this window close on settling for this to be the state of affairs. And I hope, I really, really hope people hear what you're saying there. Like, these are fixable. I get you looking around and going, I get the sense that my generation has a widespread and massive problem that's easily fixable and that's not being fixed. I go, that is powerful. That's powerful to be able to say.
Yeah. And I mean, like I say, obviously I don't even have the age to be a scientist, but I really think like 30 to 40% of that could be knocked down by helping at least the knowledge of what you could do better, and avoiding, like, for me, the really thing that knocked me into a deep hole was, which is some of my fault, but a toxic relationship that I had was extremely terrible for me. And, you know, I had always been a little nervous, but I wouldn't say I would have been prescribed any kind of SSRI at any point in my life, except for, like, when I went through that toxic relationship. That's what kind of threw me in the hole. And I'm still trying to climb out of that. But, like, toxic relationships, I mean, and of course it's like substances too. Like, you can get access to substances so much easier, like vapes. Cause I go to probably one of the biggest party schools, in my state, and the ease of access to get any kind of substance is ridiculous. I could go to they have like these ones where you literally just drive. It's like a drive-through. You just drive right up to it. You just say what you want, and you leave with like vapes, any other kind of drugs that they have there that are legal to sell. But that destroys people too. So it's a mix of there's just a mix of everything. But I think the fact that nobody has knowledge on it, at least at my age, that's kind of part of it too, if that makes sense.
I hear you. It does make sense. And especially if you're feeling hopeless and you're feeling like your days are spent kind of living in your own head with no excitement, and then somebody goes, well, you could just drive up, get a substance that's going to give you a dopamine kick, no effort, no need for actual soul searching, self-improvement, long-term change, quick fix, drive up right there, roll down the window, and somebody will hand you something that'll get you through the night. You can see how that's a bad combination. I want to say on my end too, I go, there are levels and layers to all of this. And I want to say, like, I very much believe in therapy. I very, very much believe in prescribed medications. I think they can help people's lives. I think they can save people's lives. I think there's been stretches of my life where they've saved mine. That doesn't in any way negate the fact of what you're saying. Of some of this is why, and I see this too through, you know, I work under, I've been working for a nonprofit in the mental health space for a few years now, and you start to see, there's so many situations that are just, if you can change your habits, you might be able to pull up on the stick and not get to a place where you need that SSRI. And some of it might be more simple, and some of that might be people in your life noticing that, you getting motivated to make some changes now in the early phases of sensing problems. These things are not, at least in my opinion, I'm not saying like, oh, if you go outside and you get 10 minutes of sunlight and touch grass every day that you don't need medication. You might, but I think one of the things that's really shocking, as you say, you're looking around going, I would guess 85% of the people I know in my age group are suffering from something, and they know it. So here I go, what's it like to be a high school counselor right now? What's it like to be in, what's it like to be in the infrastructure of a college if you're the person responsible for trying to help young people who are dealing with mental health struggles for the first time? If those people's caseloads are overrun by people who don't realize that there might be simple changes and choices to be made, all of the strain on the system gets harder and bigger. And that's why I'm with you. Like, work out, get outside, interact with people, have a better diet, get better sleep, right? Like, if we're being honest, if you're somebody who suffers from depression and you're staying up till 4 a.m. and playing video games every night, see what happens if you just go to bed by midnight. Like, just actually get disciplined and see what happens. If you get 4 extra hours of sleep, it might not solve your problems. It might do a world of good. And you're helping yourself. You're helping the people around you. You're helping to avoid larger problems in the future. You're helping to lessen the strain on a system that's completely overrun as it's being underfunded. Those things all go hand in hand.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. And no, I also think, therapy is great. I think SSRIs are also really good. I just think for me, I think growing up, I always felt a little over aware in a way. And so when I did have the SSRIs, I was like, okay, I don't have that over awareness now. And that kind of, I was like, uh-oh, like, I don't love that. But it did definitely take the edge off, and it was great. It was, my doctor is fairly easy to get. But therapy is one of the best things that's happened to me. I was in therapy for probably about 3 years. I still will most likely go when I go back to school. I think it's something you should have, whether or not you're really deep into something or you're just coming out of something or you just want to check up on yourself. I think it's great. And I think also, I think people our age are also have a decent understanding that there is a big percentage of us that are kind of going through the same thing. So I feel like people are starting to soften up and try and be better friends and better strangers for people. I think it's kind of turning around a little bit. But I mean, all that stuff is going to take time.
I'm blown away by you. And again, running theme in the show, we have turned a corner, and everybody out there, there used to be older listeners who would listen and say, the young people get on and they don't have that much to say, and they all say the word like too much, and you hear these complaints. I feel like in the past 2 years in particular, young people calling the show are somehow coming at it with this clarity and this wisdom about, like, hey, we think very hard about where we're at. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I notice the people around me are at. I think all of us are starting to feel mobilized. I think we're starting to, I sit here and go, in a stretch of life where I've been feeling very little hope, a 19-year-old calling up, telling me about how he makes chocolate on the side, runs multiple businesses, and believes in therapy. I sit here and go, you don't even know how much it's helping me today to hear from a smart, motivated, younger person who is seeing the world with some clarity and not swallowed up by its insanity.
Absolutely. It's hard not to be swallowed up by the insanity of everything. But no, I mean, I appreciate that. I think, like I said, I think people are starting to become more aware and of everything, and there's not a lot of people I think therapy is definitely becoming more okay, which it should have been okay in the first place, but I think everybody's becoming more okay, this is good. Especially with, I think you had to sponsor BetterHelp or Talkspace. It was one of those. I ended up using one of those for a while. Yeah. I used one of those, and it was great. It was you just signed up and everything. So the ease of access too is helping stuff. But I mean, yeah, I think everybody should be more aware of it. But like I said, I feel like I was always a little more aware than people. So, I've been listening to you since I was probably about 14.
That's wild.
I was always a big podcast listener, always trying to understand why things happened the way they did and all that kind of stuff. But Yeah, the world's insane right now.
How'd you get such a good head on your shoulders? Let's pause right there. The question is, how'd you get such a good head on your shoulders? You are going to love the answer. We will get to that and so much more when we come back. This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack sponsor. IQ Bar is the better for you plant protein-based snacks made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash. IQ Bar is free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, artificial sweeteners. IQ Bars are a natural, anytime snack. There's 9 delicious flavors: mint chocolate chip, chocolate sea salt, banana nut, toasted coconut chip, lemon blueberry, peanut butter chip. There's over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting. More people than ever are starting their days on the right foot with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. I eat IQ Bars every day. This is a true fact about me. The more I've experienced IQ Bar, the more it's just become a regular part of my daily routine. For breakfast, pretty much every morning, I grab an IQ Bar, and that's what I go with. I like knowing that I have something that tastes a lot better than other bar products, and I am well aware that everything in it is a good, healthy, clean way to start my day. Really love it. Also, I have a hydration mix every day, especially in the summer. I've just been finding it. If I'm out there mowing the lawn and it's 93 degrees and I'm sweating through my clothes, I go in, throw the hydration mix in my water, and I just feel like I get right back on track so much quicker than if I had not done so. And I've said it a million times, you will not find a bigger fan of the IQ Joe coffee stick than my wife. I can't underline this enough. If you ever meet her and you ask her, do you really like the IQ Joe coffee sticks? She will talk to you for an hour. She's obsessed with them. She loves them. I tell you, another thing I love is that right now IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. If you want 20% off, text beautiful to 64,000. Text the word beautiful to 64000. That's beautiful to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. With summer in full swing, I feel that familiar urge. You want to refresh the closet, right? But I'll tell you what, it's really daunting because refreshing the closet often is expensive. You're going to get rid of a bunch of stuff, replace it with new stuff. Some stuff maybe you only wear it once. You might not even like it that much. Guess what? That's where Quince comes in because their clothes are timeless. They feel luxurious. They look elevated. The quality's way beyond what you'd expect at the price point. It is the kind of wardrobe upgrade that just clicks with you. I really love my Quince items. I have 2 sweaters from Quince that are near and dear to me. One of them is actually on top of my dresser next to my bed, my charcoal sweater, because it's my go-to confidence item and I never ever want to misplace it. I don't ever want to be in a situation where I need to look nice and don't know where my Quince sweater is. That's 1000% true. If you want 100% European linen tops starting at $30, Quince has you. They also have washable silk dresses and skirts, soft cotton sweaters, versatile warm weather pieces you'll reach for again and again. The best part, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. You can work directly with top artisans, cut out the middlemen. Quince gives you luxury without the markup. And one thing that I love about Quince, they work with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, premium fabrics and finishes. And I'm telling you, I use Quince all the time. My wife constantly orders things from Quince. And it's not a joke. On my nightstand, that's where I leave my Quince charcoal sweater. Because if I'm ever in a situation where I go, ooh, I don't have anything that looks good. Well, I absolutely do. It's my Quince sweater. I'm throwing that on. I don't need to think about this anymore. I look nice in this thing. Let's go. Give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful. You'll get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. Thanks to all of our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call. How'd you get such a good head on your shoulders?
Well, I would say it's got to be my mom. So when I think I was about 4 or 5, my parents separated, and so I grew up with a single mom. My dad was still somewhat in the picture, but I think my mom's kind of showed me the way of how to be more respectful, of how to kind of figure out what's going on, figure out, where I want to go, and figure out kind of what I like. But mainly her, and I think the sense of, since I didn't have a father, I think the sense of independence, trying to figure out what a man should be, or what my version of a man should be growing up, that kind of independence kind of gave me the clarity and other stuff.
I gotta say, with our fan base in particular, for me to ask, how'd you get such a good head on your shoulders? And without hesitation, you saying my mom, a lot of moms listening to this show right now who are an army united behind you, because I think all of them just went, hell yeah.
Well, they should. We could operate the world with our moms. Can do it.
Never. I was just hanging out with my mom all week. And
there you go.
Still always look to my mom for wisdom and advice. When you are starting businesses as a teenager, do you find that people patronize you? Do people give you a little pat on the head and say like, "Oh, that's so cute"? Is it hard to get them to take you seriously?
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
No, yes, absolutely. For sure, yeah. At first, like the car my detailing when I started with a friend of mine, a childhood best friend, and I think I was 16 when I started that one. And so yes, it was just like, oh, I'll help you out. I'll do it. And then we ended up doing great jobs, and then just kind of got more and more, and we ended up detailing like semi trucks for a little bit. So quickly it became, oh, okay, this isn't just like a lemonade stand.
And when people treat it like a lemonade stand, is it on you to go like, hey, do you find a nice way to say like, I can feel you underestimating this. Let me explain to you the reasons why absolutely you're making a mistake by doing that. Do you just walk in the other direction and not want that business? Or do you get mad?
It's such a mix. I think at first, I think when that first happened, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm not old enough for this, or maybe I shouldn't, maybe it's not my time yet. And then it took me a little bit of time. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and try and prove people wrong. And I think that also applies to aspects of my life too. I think, so at my college, I got promoted to like the president of our like sales thing, our sales kind of club academy in a way. And so when that happened, I was looking at myself, I was like, I don't even look like physically, this is going to sound stupid, but I don't even physically look old enough to be this important in a way. And that's kind of how I felt with my detailing business, because I was a pretty short kid, baby face. So I was like, I don't even feel like I should be this important or own this. So that contributed to it too. I know that sounds stupid, but that's kind of how I felt.
It's very easy to find ways to buy into other people's perception or to underestimate yourself. I know that feeling very well.
Yeah. And so that's something I kind of got in my head about for a while. And I think now, at this point in my life, especially, like I said, after that kind of toxic relationship I had, that kind of boosted me to be like, you know what, kind of F everybody. I'm just going to see what happens and grow by myself.
Do I want to ask about the toxic relationship? Because I'm in love with you.
You
right
can
now.
absolutely.
Well, and our listeners are in love with you right now. So I'm scared I'm going to find out some stuff where I have to go like, no, not this guy.
Beat somebody up or something. You may have to. Absolutely. Ask away. I'm open book.
How are you doing? When did you realize it was toxic? What forms did that toxicity take on?
So, I'm doing good. I'm doing better than I thought I would be doing at this point. Now, granted, this relationship ended, I think, 3 or 4 months ago, but it lasted about a year, and it was my first more real relationship, but it was like half real. So we dated for about a year in total. I was actually one that ended things, and I think I started to realize it was really toxic once I got to college. So we were dating in high school, and then that summer, and then as soon as I got to college, it was almost immediately, like, just bad, like, oh, I don't want you going out to clubs, like, you're gonna cheat on me, all this stuff, like, basically say, like, you're gonna cheat on me, you're gonna find somebody better. And in my mind, I was like, well, I don't have any intention to. I go to like clubs and stuff. I go back to my dorm and I just hang out. And so I think the awareness of that relationship, kind of when that was happening, when I first got there, was when I started to realize, okay, this isn't going to be good for me. But that's kind of how that relationship stayed for a while. And granted, my college is about almost 4 hours from, where she lived. So I would visit her every couple weeks, and I always tried to make it as best, but there was always something wrong with her, where she was always mad, which I should have known, because in high school, she was like that one girl, just mean to everybody, always had an attitude with somebody. I'm not. I'm the complete opposite. I'm fairly nice, I guess, I hope.
So there was some possessiveness, there was some worry, there was some phone calls where things felt like they were getting overly emotional and out of control. I think everybody's been there. But a lot of people, when one person goes away to school, that a lot of people have had a version of this relationship where things get a little too intense, a little too possessive, and you have to figure out how to navigate your way out of a relationship for the first time, and it's never easy.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think, talking to more of my friends about what happened and like listening to podcasts and just I just talk to people a lot. So I think, like you said, I think everybody does have that one, which is kind of what helped me feel a bit better. Like, okay, well, everybody kind of goes through this. It's not obviously the end of the world, but a huge learning experience. And, I think it was more the fact that I didn't feel valued. So this is probably going to blow your mind, but we dated for a year. Her parents never knew we were together. Now, granted, she lived with them, and I lived with my parents still. So they didn't know we were together, because essentially they were racist. I'm Puerto Rican, and she was white, and they were like, "We don't want you being with somebody like that." And
that sucks. I'm sorry.
I think they said that like once or twice, and then she never really brought it up to them again. And so we just saw each other by basically just kind of, she would kind of have to sneak around and stuff. But with like how, like when we were talking about how social media and everything's set up, like nobody knew we were together, and I guess that kind of bothered me a little bit. I sound super insecure, but it's like nobody knew we were together, and I guess I kind of want to feel like a boyfriend. I want to feel valued, but I never got that. And then once we broke up, I think it was like a month or two later, she was with somebody else, showing them off like they were, the grand prize. when I kind of did as much as I could for her. So that's kind of where it affected me the most, I suppose.
That'll mess with your head for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it messed with me for sure because I was like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And it never would have worked out anyway because I obviously resented the parents a little bit because I was like, okay, well, that's kind of dumb. I mean, I'm probably going to do a better job than the other guy she was with, even though I'm a different race. But, it is what it is.
I get the sense that you're going to be okay and move on to bigger and better and learn a lot from that. Sounds like right from the start, first thing I would say is like, you can't ever judge somebody for the sins of their parents. But if you got racist parents, somebody who's not demonstrating, somebody who's, you feel like they're hiding you, why aren't you putting any pictures of us together up on Instagram? And that's going to sit in your head. Is it because of your parents? Is it because of that racism? Is that you scared to confront that when you know you should? Like right there, that feels poison from the start. That's so sad to hear you had to deal with that.
I mean, it like I said, it is what it is. That's kind of what I tell everybody. I learned a lot from it. I think I'm still learning from it. I think it took me way too long to realize that a lot of that wasn't my fault or my problem, and that I was very valuable. I was just in the wrong space.
Well said. Well said. Now, I have a couple questions. One, you mentioned before that you also on the side are a chocolate maker. What do you mean? Like, are you actually going into a kitchen making chocolates, like boiling down cocoa beans and combining them with sugar? What are we talking about here?
So the thing with that, so like I said, I like the business kind of side. So I actually met a girl from my school, and we were in the same class together. And one of my professors was like, "Hey, if somebody can start a business and have it be successful, I'll give you an A in the class. You don't have to take the final, and I'll give you $100 to start, basically like an investment." And so I was trying to find somebody. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to take the final. And so my partner, she's from Yemen, and so the company is a Dubai chocolate company. I don't know if you've seen it on like TikTok, but it's like those. It has like that green like pistachio filling in it. I don't know if you've heard.
I'm aware that you can. If this is a TikTok thing, I'm not aware of it in that sense, but I am aware that you can combine pistachios and chocolate.
Yeah. So basically, it was on TikTok, but I think it's been. It's been a thing. I think TikTok just kind of blew it up. But essentially, my partner does most of the baking. So we are in a real kitchen for a local restaurant near my school, and then I kind of do more of the marketing, finding clients to sell to, and packaging and all that side of stuff.
How's it been going?
It's going great. This summer has been pretty slow. But I mean, during the school year, we did very well. We sold out almost every week that we had some in stock. We got to like figure out new flavors. So, we have, I wish I could bring you some. They're really good too, but we have like just a regular chocolate one. And then we have like a Biscoff cookie, cookies and cream, and then the s'mores one.
Now, Andrea knows exactly what you're talking about. Andrea was like, wait, these are those things. They're huge on TikTok. They're so expensive. They're like $20 to $50 a bar.
Yes, exactly those. Which they are expensive, which is why we do little smaller ones that are about like, $5 to $6. But yeah, it was going good. We sold, so that same professor, he kind of helped us get into the school. So we ended up selling almost like $800 and something worth of chocolate bars in a week. to like our university.
So these kind of blew up. The Dubai chocolate bar filled with buttery pistachio cream. It's the internet's latest obsession, thanks to TikTok videos showcasing the treat that originated in the UAE. Wow. Look at this. So there was the TikTok trend. You said, let's make it local. Let's make it a little smaller, a little cheaper.
Yeah. That was the goal, I think. And especially with the TikTok stuff, it is kind of harder to get because it's, you got to have it shipped and you pay a lot. So we were like, you know what, let's just try and do it here. And even if it doesn't work, I still get an A in the final. So I don't care.
You got out of the final.
I did. I got out of the final, got 100 in the class. I didn't have to. He didn't make me do any homework either. He was like, if you do this, you don't got to do no homework, and I'll give you A in the final. It don't matter. You could fail every little mini quiz.
Why did anyone else start businesses? Everyone should have started a business.
You would think it was just us.
You were the only ones that took him up to get out of. When I was in college, I would have done. If any professor was like, "Hey, here's a thing you can do to never have to do homework or take the final," I would have committed crimes. I would have driven across the country. I would have chosen to do almost anything except my actual schoolwork. These kids are sitting here, they want to do the homework? No, go make some chocolate. What are we doing?
I know. That's what you would think. And it was a class. I mean, it was a solid class. It was probably about 20-some people. Now, granted, in the class, it was an entrepreneur class. So we had like little class projects of like a mini business, which I did like a baggy jeans thing. So that was like a little class project. But then, once he was like, if you guys want to do like a real business and really scale it, you just give me my return on investment and you get an A in the class. And nobody else went for it. I think one other group tried and then they didn't really follow through with it. And we were just kind of there. And we ended up, like I said, he helped us get to the school and made us some money. So, I mean, I couldn't complain.
Damn. That's so good. I love that. Do you ever travel back to Puerto Rico?
I haven't been back in a couple years. I think it was right. It was right before the hurricane, I believe. It was right before, like a little bit after that big hurricane that they had. I don't even remember which one. But yeah, so not really recently. I've been wanting to go. But college kid. I don't really got super Puerto Rico money. I am going to Vegas for 2 weeks in about a couple weeks, which is going to be great.
I've spent a little time in Puerto Rico. There was a stretch before my dad retired where he was spending so much time there for work that they just put him up and he would just live there for months at a time. And I went to visit him a few times. And my mom...
How did you like it?
I loved it. Laid back. First of all, laid back. Second of all, some of the best beaches I've ever been to, but beaches where they were just little neighborhood beaches. Like they're not getting written up on travel websites. It's just, hey, if you live in this neighborhood, this is where you go to the beach. And it happens to be just one of the most picturesque, chill beaches you'll ever go to. It was great. And then this is going to sound stupid, but I still ate meat then. I hadn't given up meat yet. And when I tell you some of the best meals in my life where you'll just be driving in Puerto Rico, you'll be on some sort of quiet road, and there'll just be a place set up where it's just like, hey, all we serve is chicken and beers. That chicken's the best chicken you're ever going to have. It's the best.
Yeah. Have you had empanadas?
We got empanadas there as well.
Those are love those. Those are, if anybody goes to Puerto Rico on this show, they have to get empanadas. They're the best. Or in America too. They're not terrible, but Puerto Rico, yeah, like you said, the chicken and just everything out there.
Also, Puerto Rico just constantly, I feel like here's, at least from being somebody who just tries to like keep an eye on things. Here's what happens with Puerto Rico is Puerto Rico takes it on the chin. Infrastructure there gets strained. Nobody helps. Then election years come up and everybody starts trying to fight for the Puerto Rican vote, especially in Florida. And all of a sudden everybody gives a shit again. And all of a sudden everybody's got all these opinions on Puerto Rico. And there's people who like to say that, you know, the Republican Party is quick to forget that all Puerto Ricans are American citizens. And, you know, Trump throwing the paper towels, not a good look.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, if I'm being honest, I don't love going political on the show, but I sit here and I go, even the liberal politicians seem to care the most in the years where there's presidential elections. And people are not stupid, and people can notice that. You can't not give a shit for 3 years out of every 4 years and expect someone to actually trust you and rally behind you. But that being said, I've been to Puerto Rico. Anybody who sits here and is like convinced that Puerto Rico is anything except a place that's beautiful and full of kind people, I got bad news for you. You're buying into somebody else's dialogue. Every place has problems,
Absolutely.
but the problems do not dominate that place. Puerto Rico's the best. I will say, and this might make you laugh, as my mom was living there with my dad, and then she came back to Jersey, and she was like, yo, I'm from New Jersey, born and raised, and I'm getting too stressed out by how people drive in Puerto Rico. And she's like, and we live in New Jersey. Notoriously crazy drivers. No. She was like, and she.
I know.
Oh yeah, what do you have to say?
No, I was gonna say I was born in Queens.
Oh, you were, beloved. I love Queens.
So I moved out here like I think 3, 4. So I have a slight understanding of the drivers up there.
My mom had a story once. I think the thing that finally made her say like I got to go back to Jersey for a while is she once was driving with my dad on a highway, and all the cars stopped at the same time on the highway. And people started honking, and she was like, what's going on? And it turned out that Felix Trinidad had won a fight that night, and everybody was just celebrating. But my mom was like, everyone stopped on the highway. I got to just go home for a while. I got to just like take a break. I'm too stressed out. I don't think that paints my mom in a bad way in any way. I hope not.
No, I totally agree. And I think when the Knicks were playing the playoffs, I think all of Manhattan was insane.
It was nuts. Yeah, Carl. Yeah, all of it, man. All of it. I feel very lucky to talk to you. It feels.
Yeah, I feel lucky to talk to you.
As a 45-year-old man, I feel very strange saying like I'm sitting here finding myself very much feeling put at ease and inspired by what is ultimately chit chat with a 19-year-old guy. But I just feel like you've got a good head on your shoulders. And I got a feeling you're going to do some really great things in life. And I get the sense you're a great communicator. And I think as long as you treat people right, the world is your oyster, because you clearly are somebody who's out here ready to work hard, not taking anything for granted. That's the end of my sentence. It didn't sound like the end of a sentence, but it was the end of my sentence.
Okay. No, I really appreciate that. It's definitely not easy trying to work hard, and I think for a while I kissed too many people's butts. But I really appreciate that. It means a lot. I think hearing that is something a lot of people my age don't unfortunately get to hear a lot, is, hey, you're doing good enough. You know, you're going to be fine. I think so a quick thing on my internship, through the sales thing at my school, there was a CEO of this company, and he hired me for this internship. And so when I got hired, the the trainer texted me. Actually, I have a picture of it. There's a text basically saying, even if it's not the company I work for, one day and you pursue something else, I know whatever you'll do it better than anyone else. That made my entire year. Besides this phone call, it made my entire year.
That's awesome. What a good vote of confidence to get. When you say that most people your age aren't hearing things like that, what are they hearing instead? And also it segues into going, when you're right now 19 in college, working hard, showing motivation, starting businesses, like you're somebody who's you're not looking for anybody to just hand you stuff. You're somebody who's like, I want to get out here and make things happen. Why do you think people your age aren't hearing that encouragement that much? And also, what are your expectations of what's possible? Let's pause right there, because our caller has great answers to this question, and it also, you got some rants coming from Gethard, some rants coming from your old buddy Chris. Anyway, we got advertisers. We'll be right back. If you're running a business right now, you do not need to be reminded. It's hard. You got budgets, they're tight. You got hiring freezes. You've got economic uncertainty coming from the top down, hitting you from all directions. And no matter how long it goes on, it always feels like it's just the beginning. Guess what? There's good news. Okay. Help is on the way. Upwork is here, helping small businesses do more with less. There's tariffs, there's budget cuts, there's food prices. Running businesses right now, it is a lot, okay? Let Upwork help you. Upwork's the hiring platform designed for the modern playbook. You can find people, hire them. You can pay expert freelancers who can deliver results from day one. Perfect for businesses on tight budgets, fast timelines, businesses with zero room for error. There are companies at every stage turning to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility. This can go from finding top talent in places like IT, web development, AI, design, admin support, marketing, and more. And if you're trying to stretch that budget, keep things moving, Upwork understands that feeling. They got you. They want to help. If you've never tried Upwork, now's the perfect time. They're giving our listeners a $200 credit after spending $1,000 in your first 30 days. That's $200 you can put towards your next freelancer. If you need design help, AI automation, admin support, marketing, whatever your business needs, Upwork has you. Visit upwork.com/save right now for this great offer. That's upwork.com/save. You'll get a $200 credit to put towards your next freelancer to help grow your business. That's upwork.com/SAVE, upwork.com/save. Don't wait. This offer's only valid through August 5th, 2025. Summer's right around the corner, but between beach days, weekend getaways, backyard barbecues, your to-do list is not getting any shorter. Remember you had that patio set? It's sitting in the boxes in the garage. You said you were going to build it before Memorial Day, but it's still sitting there. Remember how often you've been watching grouting tutorials? You went and bought all the things you need and you never actually even cracked them open. That garbage disposable has been making a sound since 2024. It's been on your to-do list since 2024. Enter TaskRabbit, your secret weapon for a carefree summer. TaskRabbit connects you with skilled taskers to help with moving, mounting, furniture assembly, home repairs, and more. Many taskers are available to help the same day. Why wait for you to do it when a tasker can do it instead? If you're going to get started, here's what you do. You go to taskrabbit.com or you can download the app. Search for the best tasker for your job based on cost, skill set, availability, past client reviews. Next, schedule a tasker, even as early as the same day. Once the tasker's completed the job, you can pay, tip, and review all on the convenient TaskRabbit app. Taskers have assembled over 3.4 million pieces of furniture, done 700,000 home repairs, completed 1.5 million moves, and more. Plus, with TaskRabbit's happiness pledge, if you're not satisfied, they'll work to make it right. I have been using TaskRabbit for years. Right now am running through my head. I have a bunch of things that need to be mounted where they're heavy and I'm scared to do it myself because I know they will rip off the walls because I'm not good at that. We have some water damage above one of our windows. We need somebody to look at that. We have a painting job on a big piece of outdoor furniture that every time it gets rain on it and I know that it hasn't been weather sealed yet, I'm freaking out. I sit here, I go, these are all things that a tasker could get done. Boom, boom, boom. I need to personally get over there on TaskRabbit and just get to work right now. I'll never forget a few TaskRabbit success stories I've had. I remember when Hallie and I bought our first place and moved into it in Queens. We had all this art. I came with my art. Hallie came with her art. We're going, how are we going to lay this out? It's confusing. A tasker came over, brought paper, cut out squares in the shape of all the art, showed us where we could hang it all, worked with us. It was actually a really fun day, really fun conversation, and then hung everything in a way where we didn't have to worry about it, came equipped with all the tools, everything for the different size frames, different weights. It was rad. It was cool to see somebody that skilled in action, just working that quickly. And I've said this show on the show before. I'll say it a million times. I once needed a new dishwasher because my son jumped out at me and scared me, and I fell onto the door of my open dishwasher. This is true. He was like 3 years old at the time, maybe 4, and destroyed a dishwasher and almost killed me in the process. Luckily, that one didn't happen. Bought a new dishwasher. I bought it with installation. The installers never came. We're having family over. It's a holiday weekend. I don't have a dishwasher to get through the holiday weekend. I've also got a giant dropped off dishwasher in a box in my kitchen. A tasker got there same day, holiday weekend, came through, installed that thing, really on a high pro level. It was quick. It removed so much stress from our life and that awful situation. TaskRabbit has your back, and you shouldn't hesitate. You shouldn't doubt. TaskRabbit steps up to the plate and delivers. I've experienced it a million times myself. Tackle your to-do list today. Get 15% off your first task at taskrabbit.com or use the TaskRabbit app using promo code Anonymous. That's promo code Anonymous at taskrabbit.com for 15% off your task. TaskRabbit. Book trusted help for home tasks. Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's finish off the phone call. Why do you think people your age aren't hearing that encouragement that much? And also, what are your expectations of what's possible?
I think those are great questions. I'll say, so for what people are hearing instead, I think like basically how we touched on the social media thing, I think in order to really hear a lot of positive feedback on what you're doing at my age, at least, and just to hear really good things about what you're doing, the kind of person you are, I feel like compared to what it should be, what the bar should be at, the bar to get compliments and the bar to even to get compliments on your physical attractiveness, how hard you work, I think that bar is set way too high by one, society, but two, like we were talking about earlier, social media. If you don't drop ship every day, or you're not waking up at 5 a.m., going to the gym, having a perfect routine, you're somehow less than desirable. And that's complete BS. I feel like that's just not how it should be. The fact that somebody can wake up, go to a job, go home, eat, watch Netflix, you're doing good. You just worked 8 hours. So I feel like that's why people don't hear it enough, is because the bar is set too high. At least that's how I see it. And for my expectations of, I guess, what do you think about what I just said? I'll touch on that thing in a second.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it ties into some of what you were saying before too, of if you don't have a Lamborghini, you feel like a failure, or if you don't have everything that you're seeing beamed through your phone at your fingertips, you're a failure. But can't lose sight of the fact that getting out there, finding your own way, figuring out who you are, paying your own bills, that's something to really be proud of, hold your head up high. And if you go home after a full day of work and watch Netflix, I don't think that that's anything to be ashamed of. I think that's something to be said for. You're out here, you're figuring everything out. You're doing your part. I'm totally with you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's tough. But I mean, in terms of my expectations and stuff like that, I don't know. I think like I don't really know what I expected myself in like 10 years. I think like there's so many ways. Like, okay, so for right now, like my job is basically doing sales. But for some reason, when I'm trying to sell something or whatever, I just feel bad about what I'm selling, or I feel like I'm not giving this person, my customer or whatever, the value that I think they deserve. And I don't really know what that really stems from, but I think there's a lot of things of like, all right, I'm not doing good enough for them, or I guess we kind of talked about this already, but I'm not really doing good enough for myself. So it's really hard for me to picture what my goal or what I'm going to expect of myself in years to come.
I know that I have some friends who are younger comedians who I've been working with lately. Really talented guys. I look at them and I go, you're ahead of the curve compared to where I was at when I was in my mid-20s. These guys are all in their mid to late 20s now. I go, you've got so much more focus. You've got a better game plan. You're more talented than I was at that age. These guys are just like hardworking, kind, know how to network, great looking guys, like all these things you want in entertainment traditionally. And when I talk to them, I was always shocked because I realized like when they found out that I don't rent, that I own my house, they were like, oh, we didn't think that, that's like not an attainable thing for us. I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, we just assume that we're never going to own our homes. Like no one we know does. It's not even a goal anymore. It's too hard. I sit here, I go, when did that start to change? People start to go like, it used to feel like you could be a middle-class person. You could be a working person and go like, yeah, someday, you know what? I'm not going to have a landlord. I'm going to be my own landlord and I'm going to raise a kid. And I meet people, another friend of mine who's a comedian who's so talented, who has accomplished so many things, who recently told me, she's like in her early 30s she told me, so many people she knows, so many women around her age group are sitting here going like, economically, I don't know if I can have a kid. And it's getting in people's heads and it's messing with them. And I'm starting to realize the American dream has at the very least severely changed. And I get the sense that young people look at it and go, a house in the suburbs with 2 cars in the driveway and a couple kids? Ha, ha, ha. We don't get to have that shit anymore. But it doesn't feel like anybody's told them what the new American dream is.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, that's how. I mean, I guess I could speak for people my age right now. It seems impossible. I mean, I can barely I'm working this. I have this. I have the 2 other businesses, but I can still there's no way I could just live on my own. There's absolutely no way. I mean, I know I'm still in college, but still. But yeah, thinking about the cost of having a kid. Like my mom just had. Hopefully her last one. My mom just had my little sister about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And even for her, it's like, I don't even know how this is going to work. I'm going to try and figure it out, but it's like, and you obviously you want to do the best for your children. And so I think that's kind of where maybe that comes in too, of not being able to support them financially. Growing up. But yeah.
It just breaks my heart that it feels so tenuous, To hear you say own a home, I can't even imagine a world without roommates. I know I'm in college, but I can't even think about living on my own. So there I'm like, you can't have generations of people giving up on the idea of what they used to have and not either find those pathways where they realize what is possible again, or tell them here's the new thing to do. Here's the new way to feel that pride, to feel like a contributing member of society, self-sufficient, happy, able to pay your bills and have some time for yourself. You can't let the one thing die and not tell people what the new dream is, or else you just have a whole bunch of people who find it foolish to even dream. And that starts to, you want to talk about mental health problems and discontent and anger and people feeling like they've paid into a system that's not going to pay them back. It's real trouble.
Absolutely. And it's like what you say, it's being able to, I mean, and for me, like, it's hard for me and my friends to even go out to like a diner and get enough food for us to be pretty full without having to spend $30 for just one meal. Now, granted, that's like a diner, but even if we got the fast food, if I'm eating even McDonald's, it's still going to run me about $15, almost. And that's without taxes, it's a whole hour of me working.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to. Yeah, that shouldn't have to be out here going, I've got multiple jobs. I've got great intentions. My mom raised me right. She was a single mom, taught me how to keep a good head on my shoulders, have a good, strong work ethic. And maybe if I work for 90 minutes today, I can get a number 2 meal at Wendy's. Like, you can't. Yeah. People will eventually start to break down if you tell them that's their value. Hey, you want to spend a big chunk of your day just so you can get an unhealthy sandwich and a side of fries? That's because that's what your time is worth. It's not going to work.
And don't forget a milkshake. I'd have to work another hour for that. I mean,
if you want a Frosty, you better clock some overtime.
Large Frosty is going to be about $4 and some change. There's no way. There's no way. I just can't. I can't believe it's just the price of stuff. And then, I mean, it's also dumb stuff being college because it's like, okay, well, we just bombed another. I don't know if I should say this on the podcast, but we just bombed another country. So then what? What happens to? What am I gonna die soon? Like, should I spend all my money on Frosties, or should I just pray and hope that everything's gonna be okay? I'm going to really have no idea what's going to happen.
I'm just with you. I sit here, I go, and again, like, I'm past a certain point in life. Like, I managed to sneak in at the tail end. I bought a house. I did all the things they told us we're supposed to do. And even I sit here, and I've said it on the show before, I sit here, I go, if I'm where I'm at in life and have been as relatively successful combination of a lot of hard work, a lot of luck, and I'm still this stressed about health insurance, what's a 19-year-old guy supposed to do if he goes, I can add up my hourly rate and realize I don't even get to, if I'm on the way home and I don't feel like cooking, I can't even stop and get fast food. I'm tired. I have 2 jobs and an internship. I'm tired. I want fast food, but if I eat fast food, it's going to erase half of my day today to get one fast food meal. And then I look around and go, it seems like the priorities of my country are dropping bombs and fucking with poor people. And again, like, politics, they always start showing up when they're all over the news. But I sit here, I go, we're now funding ICE. You start to read, people can't afford a cheeseburger, but we can somehow fund a government agency that's more than Italy's military budget. Like, wait, what? Yeah. We can't afford cheeseburgers. You can afford masks. Yeah. Law enforcement? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I know. Do you still do your volunteer EMS?
I still do it, yeah.
And it's so, like, that's the stuff that, I mean, society can't thank, especially you guys, enough for. Because to be able to to be like, okay, I just want to help people. Nobody, even good people, it's still hard for somebody that's a genuinely good person to be like, I can go out and volunteer my time, because then they have to worry about, okay, well, I'm not getting paid for this, so where am I going to make up for it?
Exactly.
But no, I mean, everything's scary. Like, I know with the whole, again, not trying to get too political, but with the whole ICE and that bill that passed, that affects like me and my basically friend group. Like, one of my friends, he's dating a girl. I want to say they're from Venezuela, and they're worried about what's going to happen to them, both financially and getting kicked out of the country. And then for stuff to do with financial aid for my school, like, there's a lot of kids that in my school, I mean in the country, but that rely on the federal Pell Grant to help pay for school, and that's going to be taken away. So then what's going to happen to their education? That's where it gets scary. That's where it gets really scary for me.
And I need people to hear that loud and clear. We've spent an hour talking. You're a pretty regular guy. You got a good head on your shoulders. That was so clear out of the gate. And sit here and go, it's not histrionic at this point. It's not just people getting worked up over headlines. It's you, the guy that we've gotten to know over that past hour, going, yeah, like people my age would love to volunteer more. But if we work 3 jobs and we can't afford food, we don't have the time or energy or bandwidth to volunteer. To hear you go, it's not like being on a college campus right now and going, yeah, my friend's girlfriend is kind of scared to walk around freely because it's getting legit scary to do so. You go, this is not normal. It's not normal in the short term, and it's really, really hard to see how it doesn't boil over in the long term. I would love it. Like, if someone could explain to me the long-term plan on a lot of this stuff, I would love it. Even if I fundamentally disagree on a political level, or the way that this, even on the way that this treats people, I fundamentally disagree. But at least I see the plan. At least I understand that in your mind you have a plan. But I sit here, I go, it doesn't seem like there's a plan. It seems like things change every day. It seems like people can't afford their lives. It seems like people are getting more and more scared about their lives in the immediate moment. And a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it seems like people are directionless. It feels like we used to have this company line in America of like, get out there and work hard and you can have a nice, peaceful existence. That doesn't feel like enough anymore. Like you said right from the start, people don't. Where's the TikTok reels about how rad it is to be handed the keys to your first house, even if that house is like a little dinged up in a working class neighborhood? Like, that used to be such a point of pride. But now we're training kids to go, well, I don't have a fucking Lamborghini. Like, how do we think this ends? We are losing control of the steering wheel on this entire thing. And it's no longer, I'm someone who tries to avoid histrionic thinking in my real life and in my work and on this show. But it's now undeniable. People are sitting around really starting to realize it doesn't seem to matter who's in charge. We all have this vague sense that nobody is at the steering wheel. How does this end? It's fucked up. For a hardworking person with 3 jobs and good intentions in life, I don't like that you have to sit around and think about shit like this.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true. And I don't even have to really worry about, like, that stuff doesn't, I guess, super directly apply to me. But imagine the students that are 18 and 19 years old that have no idea how to write a check, wondering what's going to happen to their entire lives. So that's where it comes in to me and I guess my friends and weird stuff. But that's something we should have to worry about because I haven't, like, I got a bunch of other stuff going on. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how I can work out more or eat better. Like, that's normal stuff to worry about. But I shouldn't have to worry about my friend's girlfriend getting picked up in a van and never seeing her again.
It's, again, fantastic advice that goes well beyond what anyone would expect from a 19-year-old caller to the show. Because I think what I have found over and over again the past handful of years is, what's the choice I can be making right now that I can actually have some control over? And like you said, does that start with eat better, find more time to take care of yourself? Okay, if I feel like I have some semblance of control over that, is there a way to extend that a little further into my friend group? Now can I extend that a little further into my community? What are the things that we actually feel like we have a tangible effect on right now? We have to stay in touch with those in a really, really visceral way. And taking care of yourself and the people immediately around you is huge right now. It's huge for your mental health, and it's huge for your ability to function in a world where so many things feel so beyond our ability to affect. And I feel so inspired talking to you. And I know that you didn't lead it in this direction. But to just here's what it's like being in school right now, running businesses, dealing with relationships while also dealing with the craziness of this world around us. I really love it. This wraps up our time on the free feed, but I'm hoping you'll stick around for a few more minutes to talk to me behind the paywall. This was a hell of a conversation. I thank you for having it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Caller, I can't thank you enough. Everybody who wants to hear more over at beautifulanonymous.com, it's well worth it. There's more philosophy. There's also a discussion of college eating habits where you are sort of reminded, is a college kid at the end of the day, and that does come back to life as well. I meant every word I said, caller. We were just chit-chatting, shooting the shit, but I really do just feel there's a lot of people like you out there in your age group who see things for what they are right now. You're not giving into hopelessness. It's awesome. Thank you so much for calling, filling me on everything out there that's going on with you. Thank you to Andrea Quinn for producing the show. Thank you to Shell Shack for the theme music. punchup.live/Chris Geth if you want more info on me and what I'm up to, especially my road dates. The voicemail number is 973-306-4676. The Instagram is Beautiful Anonymous Pod. The Facebook group is Beautiful Anonymous, the community. Thanks so much, everybody. Tell people we still exist. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions. How do you take your coffee?
I usually, it doesn't sound weird, but I usually just put chocolate milk and I sound like such a kid. Chocolate milk and coffee, and it's great. I have a side of Dino Nuggies on the side, and it's fantastic.
Dino Nuggies? Oh my goodness. I got to say, you called it out like, oh, I sound like such a kid. But I will say from my old man perspective, I'm happy to hear that because I go, you're telling me about how you got 3 jobs, all these ways that you're navigating the world. You've got all these thoughts on stuff. They're beautiful. I'm telling you how it inspires me. You know, I really do just so genuinely feel like, cool, young people have their eye on all this shit. I love it. But then to hear you say you eat Dino Nuggies and put chocolate milk and coffee, I go, good, you're still 19. Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.